Hi, and welcome to this episode on spiritual love. Again, I've been writing for years. I didn't know exactly what or how this would turn out. I had many poems, many things that I wrote over the years, and I thought that this was going to be one big book. There's actually one more manuscript, so it would be another little book here. I thought all of that was going to be one book. However, I decided to split all of the poems into My Heart's Expansion, this book, and then the third book that has not yet been released. One time, my good friend, Debbie Romero, was reading me, and she's like, "You probably write a book." Well, she told me that I would write more than one book. Specifically, she said, the book that you write is spiritual love. So this is a channel message from her. And at the time, I didn't really understand it. I didn't know what I would write about. However, as I'm going through my journey, I understood what I was going to be writing about. One of the hardest things about love as being a spiritual person was consciously I knew what was happening. There were so many spiritual experiences that would happen with people. I didn't know why it was happening at the time. I didn't know what was going on. I would talk about dreams in this book. One of the things that would happen for me was that sometimes in my dreams I would meet the people before I actually met them. Or when I had finished my time with that person, I would see it in my dreams, our past life connection. So I write all about that kind of stuff in here because I learned a lot from my karmic relationships. I learned about what it was like to be a messenger for somebody's loved one that had passed away. I write about that experience in here, but I wanted to take this a step further aside from the literature. So let me see how many chapters this is. This is 9 chapters. I love this whole book. I love it. Chapter 8 is Track of My Soul Ties, and chapter 9, the Spiritual Therapist Love Files. So those are two of my favorite chapters in this book. Let me go to one of the chapters. After every chapter, we go into soul reflections. We go deeper within because it's kind of interesting. Some people do have these spiritual experiences, and I did want people to be able to really explore that and really talk about it, write it down, and really go deep within. Right. For instance, one of the soul reflections here is, what signs or synchronicities has the universe used to guide your love life? One of the things that I would experience was I would see people's names. Right before they would come back into my life, I would see their names. And sure enough, within a few days, I would hear from them. Since for me, the universe signaling who was going to come back into my life. And then I have love notes to my soul, which are affirmations, and then for each chapter. So for all 9 chapters, we go into all of them. So this is Soundtrack to My Soul Ties. That's a really cool chapter. I name there's, let me see how many tracks. 13 tracks plus a bonus track. And so basically the writing behind it was inspired by a song. There would be certain songs that remind me of someone, and that was the inspiration behind each song. So one of the soul reflections for that chapter was, what songs remind you of past lovers and why? So again, I wanted to take it a deep further where people can go deep within. And the Spiritual Therapist Love Files, that one right there was more about me, about how I analyzed things. Because I think one of the hardest things was I was very spiritual. So I would already know stuff. And two, what was a little bit harder was that I could analyze subconscious behaviors and attachment styles. I could do all of that, like, are they compatible with me? And so there was a lot to it. But I've learned a lot, and I decided that I would put all of that in here. Again, I am hoping that this will reach the right people, and I hope that it will assist you in your journey. Again, this is all tools. You might feel some stuff resurface as you read, and this is why I say that we use literature somatically to see how it feels in your body. Or sometimes you might be able to relate to something and like, oh my gosh, I didn't know other people experience what I experienced, and that there's healing in that, and that people have very similar experiences as to what you're having and going through. So I leave you with spiritual love. There's probably going to be like a 2.0. Who knows? But I am sending you love and light on this journey. And I hope that I will be able to continue to hold space for those who are ready to continue to grow and evolve into the next best version of themselves. Sending you lots of love and light on this healing journey. With love, April.